Hello, this is Tim Campsell at Action Coach Business Coaching with my Survive and Thrive Business Spotlight series. The purpose is to interview local business owners and promote them through my social channels and email database, as well as provide them coaching. This is a free service I'm doing because if we save every business, we save the economy. Today, I have the pleasure of talking with Nick. Welcome, Nick. It's great to have you on the program today.
Thank you so much for having me, Tim. I really appreciate it.
Well, let's jump in and tell us a little bit about yourself and about your business in a 60-second commercial type format.
Perfect. Yeah. So my name is Dr. Nick Shelby. My wife, Rachel, and I own Hope Chiropractic. We actually just moved here in June from Atlanta, Georgia. So we are brand new Hoosiers. I was in Atlanta, Georgia for about 7 years, but we're originally from Ohio. I'm from Cincinnati and she was from Toledo, and we were ready to be back in the Midwest. So we decided to make the jump up to Indianapolis and open up Hope Chiropractic. And at Hope, we're a little bit different than your traditional chiropractor. We actually specialize in really specific brain-based chiropractic care for the entire family, but especially kids and pregnant moms. And our whole goal is to really get to the root cause of someone's health concerns instead of just covering up the symptoms, which is what we're so used to today in healthcare. And that is why we focus on the brain and the nervous system. And so we use some technology in the office that shows us exactly where the underlying issues are within the nervous system. And then we use gentle adjustments. We don't do any twisting, cracking, or popping or anything like that. And that allows us to improve the function of the nervous system, allowing your body to heal the way that it was intended to.
Fantastic. So you haven't opened yet. I think that's correct, but you're getting close.
We are getting very close. Yep. Right now we're looking at early December.
Fantastic. That's exciting. So prior to that, you've had experience in this field. I think you told me that your father does this as well. So you've been around this industry forever.
I have, yes. Second generation chiropractor, the fourth one in my family, and we actually have two more at chiropractic college right now. So I grew up in chiropractic. I grew up living what we call a chiropractic lifestyle. And it made all the difference in my health growing up. And I'm really passionate about sharing that message and that opportunity with young families today.
Fantastic. So tell me, who do you serve? Really, who's your best customer? We call that a target audience.
By far, our best customer are young families, kids, pregnant moms, young families. Especially today with everything that's going on in the world, parents are stressed now more than ever, and kids are sicker than ever. This is actually the first generation of kids that have a shorter life expectancy than their parents. And so parents are looking for answers and they're looking for results when it comes to the healthcare, not only for themselves, but for their children. And we really pride ourselves on being in a place where people can come and they can get their answers and they can get the results that they need.
Fantastic. So what has been the greatest impact that COVID's had on your business? I know you haven't opened yet, but has it had an impact on everything?
It has, yeah. So the biggest impact that COVID has had is on the way that we market our practice. So going into this process, we had a very strategic 90-day marketing plan before we opened the office. And that consisted of a lot of events. So going to events, going to gyms, setting up a table, and doing what we call a health screening, where we basically give the person an opportunity to sit down, tell us what's going on, and we can use some of that technology that I talked about earlier to see what's going on and see if they're a good fit for the office. And it's a really great way to meet people in the community. But obviously right now events aren't happening, and COVID really shook that up a little bit. So we've had to adapt to that.
Fantastic. So what are one or two actions that you have taken to adapt, and how's that working for you?
Yeah, I think the first thing is really doubling down on developing relationships with other people in the community. So meeting people through networking and really getting to know them and how we can best serve them. You know, one, that's a great way to develop relationships in the community, but two, it's also a better way to serve our practice members in the office, because people will come up to us all the time and they'll tell us everything that's going on in their life. And They're looking again for answers and results. And by developing these really great relationships in the community, we can then have a better opportunity to refer our practice members to the right people. And again, just another way to better serve the practice member. And then the second thing is really doubling down on our systems and procedures, really making sure that we have everything set up in the office, everything ready to go, and that we can really deliver what we call the Disney experience, right? We're really able to take care of that young family from A to Z, and to get them going on a better journey towards health.
Fantastic. So here's an interesting question, Nick. It's been said that smart people learn from their mistakes and wise people learn from the mistakes of others. So what mistakes have you made along the way, and how can other entrepreneurs learn from your experience?
I think the biggest thing would be mindset.
Mhm.
With everything that's going on in the world, a lot of uncertainty, it's very easy to let that creep in to your mindset and your mentality. And early on in the opening process, I let that happen a little too much. Um, Luckily, I have a wonderful wife who kind of slapped me around a little bit and got me right back on the right path. But just standing guard at the door of your mind and making sure that you're feeding it the right things, and just knowing that just because other people in the world are operating in a certain way doesn't mean that your business has to operate in the same way. And it doesn't have to go down that same path. You can still open a business during 2020 and still succeed and still do very well. And that's definitely been the biggest thing.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing that. So second last question here. I've got your contact information to include when I post this interview. Is there anything else that you'd like to add, like some type of special offer maybe?
Absolutely. So one of the unique things that makes our practice a little bit different is the process through which we take our practice members through. And that evaluation process is very heavily driven by technology, right? So it really allows the practice member to see what is really going on underneath the hood. What is the root cause of the problem?
Mm.
And so we have a couple different pieces of technology that we use during the initial examination. And usually to come in to get that initial history consultation, that examination and everything, it's between $75 and $150. But for anyone who mentions this interview, we'd be happy to drop it down to 20 for you and anyone in your family, just so that way we make it easy for you to come in, see if there's anything that we can do for you. And that way, again, you have the answers that you need.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for that. Last question here, Nick. Tell me what's been most inspiring to you during all of this craziness?
The biggest thing that has been inspiring is how good people actually are,
Hmm.
and how much people are willing to go out of their way to help others. You know, whether it be people that I meet out in the community, whether it be friends, whether it be family, whether it be complete strangers. I'm always very inspired by the goodness in people that we see all the time.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing that. Well, Nick, that concludes the interview. For those listening to this, if you heard something in this interview that maybe you're struggling with, or you heard a pivot that Nick mentioned that you like to implement in your business, I offer free coaching sessions for folks. So I'll include that information in this interview as well. Nick, it's been a pleasure learning from you today and learning about your company. And I wish you tremendous success on your opening.
Thank you so much, Tim. And thank you for putting this together. It's a great service to a lot of people.
You are most welcome. Have a fantastic day.
You too.